All right, people. Happy Halloween. We are recording. So I'm here in Dreamweaver. Hopefully, you guys are setting your sites up correctly, and so everything matches on both sides, and everything's cool there. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a layout for the site, and so I'm not even going to look at the code. So what do we got to do? What's the first thing? This needs to be interactive because you guys are going to like fall asleep here. Shout it out. Have more M&Ms? Good idea. What's the first order of business? My page. Shout it. What? Linking stuff. Link to what?
CSS.
The what? The CSS to Bootstrap. So I'm going to go out to Bootstrap. Get Bootstrap. Boom. Bootstrap v4. Okay, so I'm not going to download it. I'm going to go down to Getting Started. Did I go to the wrong place? Oh, this is B4 Alpha. That's why. Get Bootstrap. Get started. So I don't need to download the library anymore. Like some of the examples show, go get the library right and download it. There's no need to do that because you can just get the CSS right here. So I've done that, and I can come over here and go in my head with my document, and there we go. So now I've got Bootstrap, and I can actually test that by just going into my body here and just typing some code. And it shows up as one, it's butted right up against the edge of my page, which means there's no margins, so the CSS has overridden that. And my font is Helvetica New, which is obviously not Times New Roman. So I know my style sheet's working right out of the chute. So let's go ahead and make our own style sheet as well, just for fun, just so we can set this up. Save it. We're going to call it what? Lolcats. Okay, and I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call this index. Actually, you know what I got to do is I got to make a lolcats folder. Okay, call that index. Awesome. Now I saved this to the wrong spot, so this is broken already, right? Because I saved it in here, and I need to save it in with lolcats. All right. So now I can close this. Now I got two lolcats folders. How many of you guys have done this already? Like screwed up? Like, oh, I got too many folders. I know I've seen some. I've been around to your tables and seen some of the stuff. It's like, oh, I saved it in the wrong place. Oh, save as. Now I got two, and now I don't know which one, and it's not updating. So I'm going to go fix this right now before I go any further. So if I go back here, come on. That one's my extra one, so I'm deleting that. I'm getting rid of it. Okay. So what's the next thing I got to do? What's required for all Bootstrap projects? I'll give you a hint. It's a class. What class do I need to put in there? Yep, shout it out. They can't hear you on the TV.
A row.
Not a row. Close though.
Container.
Nope, that's going in. Go up.
Head.
This is me not flexing my muscles. Nope. It's what class do I need?
Container.
We got it. We got a winner in the back.
He said container like
Bonus for
5
you.
times, so I thought
Oh, I like this. Pass that. Oh no! Some kid next semester is going to find that. Now we know how to make this interactive. I should have never handed out candy in the first place. Okay, so I got to put a container in. I know.
You didn't say container.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Okay, div class this container. This is the beauty. Is like I just type a couple letters, hit enter. I'm good. It closes it. So now I've got my box, right? That's going to hold my Miranda. It's going to hold my
Miranda.
row. Look at that throw. That was right over Brian's head. I'm sorry if I almost hit you, Brian. So let's map this out. Let's go and get the design here real quick. We're gonna. Where is my super suit? No, where? I love that movie. Why do you need it? What am I looking for? I'm looking for lolcats designs and resources. So let's go and get the design. Let's look at the PDF here so we know what we're doing. Okay, so there it is. So the first one we're going to do is the, we'll just do the index for fun because that's what we've already done. Time for an M&M. Let's shrink this down. So what do we got? We got this container here. We've got this area here. Another area. So I'm going to just approach these as all rows. You don't necessarily have to do this, but why not? So I'm going to go row of 12, row of 12, row of, and we'll split this up, and we'll split that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows on this page. And I will tell you a secret. I'm actually going to look ahead. And this one, we know we're going to split this into like 2 rows and 2 columns. So this could be a little tricky, but we just want to keep that in mind. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So let's go back to Dreamweaver, and let's just do 5 rows. Boom. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can do things like I can kind of like throw some information in here just so I can get my brain around this. Slideshow, articles, and what's this? Footer. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm kind of just like laying this out in my brain. It's like, okay, these are where things are going to go, right? And so, and one of the things I can do is I can actually put these in comments. So that makes life a little easier. Comments are going to save your life because it's going to get really complicated here. I don't know if you can read this, but I'm basically just making each one of these comments so I can keep them. All right. So what kind of class am I going to put in here next? Anybody know? Bueller? No? You got one already. Give somebody else a chance.
I don't want it.
Concussion girl, say calm. You need it. I told you you need a little help tonight. So, okay. So I need a column, right? So I'm going to call this column underscore dash medium. And then how many rows am I going? How many columns am I going across? Am I doing like multiple columns or just one big one? Yeah, so I'm just wrapping this. I'm doing this whole thing. I could almost do it with make this menu with columns, but I don't want to do that. I want to make the menu later, and I'll just put it in that column. I'll put it in the holder. But for now, I'm just going to make one big long container that holds all my stuff. So it's going to be a 12. Long story short, I don't think anybody got that. And then I'm going to close it, and I'm going to say this is my menu. So let's go back. So that's a 12. This is a 12. This we're actually going to do 3 columns. So I'm going to do a 4, a 4, and a 4. But the next one, this search thing is a little funky. That's going to go away. But all right. So the masthead, that's going to be a 12. Whoops. Copy paste is your friend here. I said copy paste is your friend. Don't copy paste from your friend. Okay, and then my slides, I've actually got to put in a few columns. I'm going to put in 3 columns. So I'm going to go boom, and I'm going to do a 4. So I want 3 of those columns to go across, right? So it's 12 total. So I divide that by 3 columns, and that's 4, right? So that's how I got to 4. Does that make sense? Sure. So that's a 4, and I'm going to say slides 1, and again, copy paste is your friend here. And then I'm going to come down here, my articles. That's the same deal. I'm going to have three columns there too, right? So if I come back here, there's 3 of these columns. You notice that this doesn't line up. I'm stepping away from the computer, so my voice is going to get really far away. This doesn't really line up. Like this is, these are exactly a third across. This one isn't. And so I'm going to kind of cheat. So I could just do this with divs. I could just say div, 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 and not do a row. And just say, look, just put the slideshow in there. But for the sake of ease, I'm going to just kind of squeeze it into the thirds and make it work. So I'm cheating. All right, photos go away. There we go. So I'm just gonna totally steal this code, and I'm gonna put it right in this row. And then the footer, again, these aren't evenly spaced, and I'll tell you a secret. This page was created in Photoshop, so whoever made this page kind of was like spatially impaired. So if I were making this page, I like symmetry, repetition. So I'm going to go, this is exactly a quarter, this is a quarter, this is a quarter, this is a quarter. So 4 quarters gives me what? How many width? What's the width of my column? Thanks. And so I'm just going to steal one of these divs and change this to a 3. I'm going to call this footer, and then copy this. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, it doesn't look like much, does it? When you start looking at the graphics side of this, it doesn't look like much. Remember my trick that we were able to like do a wildcard style and apply that to all the styles, and we start putting grids in? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Bootstrap code, and actually I'm going to go, first of all, I'm going to go to Tools, CSS, and attach a style sheet here. So I'm going to get my lolcats CSS and attach it. So I want to show you something. When I do this, when I browse, either to open a file or browse a file, if big if, my website is set up correctly in Dreamweaver, it'll take me inside my site. You shouldn't have to like back up a bunch and move over a bunch. It's going to break. Your website, when you go to upload that onto the server, it's going to break because you're moving inside and outside of all these folders. It should just be like open. Oh, there it is, right there. There it is, right there. And if I go back to the top here and look at the style sheet that I just linked, it's oh yeah, it's right in the same, the path. There isn't a lot of this // // or file : // that's that's just a red flag to know I'm doing something wrong. I just want you to kind of figure that out. I'm not going to tell you to solve it, but you need to save everything first and then do the attachments. So there's a few little tricks there that you're going to learn. Also, you notice I embedded it. Where did I embed this? Is this right? The order of this right? So I got my bootstrap link here, and then I've got my local style sheet right there. Is that right? Say yes, Brian.
Yes.
Yes, Brian.
I was looking.
Give us all your candy. What are you gonna give to the trick or treater?
Oh, we get tons more. Like my wife is like, sale on candy, sale on candy. Yeah, so plenty of candy. I should go home. I should drive home right now, take 2/3 of the candy, bring it back here, and give it to you guys. Although tomorrow, actually Thursday, is another good reason to show up on Thursday because then you get the leftover candies from my house. Okay, so this is right. Why? Why is this right?
Because it's cascading. So
Exactly. Order of operation. Reads from the top, goes to the bottom. So you get the bootstrap styles first, and then you override those bootstrap styles right under it. So that's, as the page flows, you say, no, your style is no good here. We want your style to be my style. And then I still got to go back and Google the old CSS wildcard. Remember that trick from earlier? And I think it was in Stack Overflow, yeah. There she be. Okay, so anything with a call dash is going to have a style with a border of 1 pix, solid, I don't know, blue. And it works, right? Worked right away. Perfect. And then let's just set the height 200 pixels. Let's make that 100 pixels. Just so I can, and this is just visualization. I mean, I can take all of this stuff away later, but it helps me visualize the site, So if I come in here and say, all right, this sort of starts to look like this, right? This is my menu, my masthead. Now, the heights on all these are going to change, and they're really, you're going to do other code in there and actually set the styles on that, and that's what's going to fit. But I'm just putting this in here to, like I say, to kind of rough it in and say, okay, this is how it's going to look. This code is going to be the same on every page. Bingo. This code, same on every page. Same on every page. This is what's going to change in the middle here on each of the pages. So here's the wonderful thing. I can save this. I can go to the style sheet, save that. And if I go back to index, go back to the source code, now I can go save as, about. And before I do this, actually, let's just back up. What are my three? I got roughly 3 kind of main designs. Okay, I've got this one where I've got this block in the middle, and I've got a banner, a breadcrumb. You guys know this is called a breadcrumb? Did you know that? It's web terminology, right?
Can you explain exactly
So breadcrumb tells you, yeah, it tells the user where they've been. So instead of, so when they click, so it's more important on big sites where you start to drill down. You keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and pretty soon you're off in, I like RC stuff, so it's like you're in airplanes, engines, outrunners, 35 to 28 millimeter, so you're like, you drill down way in, so you're, where am I? And so, what's that?
Like iLearn?
iLearn is that way, exactly. And actually, let's see. Yeah, so here's breadcrumbing for iLearn, right? And this is all part of the theme. So they wrote this into the theme to do this when it doesn't. Not all themes will show you breadcrumbing. But it's a great way because I use this all the time. I go, and if I want to hop back to the top of the class, I can just click and bam, I'm there. And by the way, this is all generated dynamically. So you guys should never have to code this yourselves. It should just, put in breadcrumb here, and the coder puts the breadcrumbs in there. Make breadcrumb look like this. That's your job. And you say, I don't talk like that. We're going back here. So this is one. So this is the report page. This is the same, and this is blog. This is a blog post. That's the same. That's the calendar. That's different. This is this is not events. This is about. I'm sorry. No, this is a calendar event, calendar post. This is about. That's the same. So I'm gonna do about now, and I'm gonna kill a bunch of birds with one stone here. So I'm gonna save this as. Okay, and so now what I need to do is I need to get rid of the slides. So here I need to get rid of this, and I need to get rid of the articles. But I'm not gonna like delete them right away. I'm gonna just look and see what I want. So let's go back here and figure this out. So what do you think? This is what, like 3/4, 1/4 maybe? Is that like ratio of how much columns? So if I got 12, what would that be? Like an 8 and a 4? And it's like all this 12 math. Why can't it be in tens? Come on. So it'd be like eight columns and 4 columns? Does that sound like a decent split? Let's try it. But there's also, and this is kind of funny that the guy that, again, the Photoshop guy that did this screwed up. And so look at the breadcrumb here on the top. So this breadcrumb goes all the way across. And then if I go up here, oh, it goes all the way across. Oh, but then right here, it goes right here. Which design? This is a design choice on your guys' part. What do you like better? Like all the way across is easier, right?
Yeah.
But I like this better. So we're gonna do this. Sorry. So we're gonna do this style. So I'm gonna do an 8 and a 4. So we'll go. I'm just going to call this main content now, and then this will be sidebar. Bar. And I've got just. Oh no, that's not right. Main content. Boom. And boom. And then I can remove all of this. So what I'm doing is not doing sidebar here. I'm actually getting rid of one of my rows. I'm deleting that row. So like it was right here. And so now I can do an 8 and a 4. And if I click up here, oh, it's broken. Because I have an extra row here. What did I do wrong? So I got a row, I got the sidebar, I got another row, and I close it. Now if I come up here, and let's call this main and side. Okay, so here's my main bar and my side here. So you can see how easy it is just to screw it up. Like you delete one thing, and you really have to be watching what your start point and your end point and your delete is. It's just practice. Save a lot and undo a lot, right? So now I need to put in one more piece of breadcrumbing right here, right? See where my main one is? You guys are all like, yeah, Mom posted on Facebook. I'll get right back to you. So I'm going to do another row. I'm going to nest, right? This is like Brittany. Oh, did I? No, this is right. So I'm going to do a row. And I'll do a column. And because I'm nesting this, I want this to go all the way across. It's going to be a 12. And that's my breadcrumb. And then I'm going to do another row. And that's going to be my main content. And in theory, let's look at this. Yeah, now because I can't really do nesting with my, I set the height to 200 pixels. Well, it gets funky because the containing div holds two columns, 2 rows. So I'm going to go back to my CSS is my point here. I know I'm starting to get complicated here, but I'm going to get rid of this height. And you'll see now I've got my menu, I've got my mast, I've got my breadcrumb, I've got my main, and then I've got my site over here, and it does exactly what I want it to do. It goes all the way to the top, right? So I can also do this. I can say height 100 pixels. But then I can do another class, and I can call it, I don't know, dot extra tall. And say the height on that is 200 pixels. And the reason I'm doing that is just because, like I said, it's getting funky here with my two rows inside one column. Does that make sense? I can tell by your silence that that's a no. So, but this is my. So all I did was I just made these 2 extra tall, and I can do a shorty too. I can make it short. I can keep playing around with the height by giving these more classes, right? I can give it by adding this extra class here, I can override the styles for the other thing, for the column. That sort of makes sense? Again, the easy way to do this, let's go to the easy way, is just eliminate this stuff altogether. Say, no, let's just let the text dictate the height. Okay, so regardless, I've just done my template for everything, right? This is my template for all of my, for most of my pages. And so I can start putting in, more and more heights and more styles and things like that, and start roughing it in. And the text will fill in. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense at all? Are you guys just trying to keep up? You're like, type, look, type, look. Why isn't he letting us have this code? It's kind of the way it plays out sometimes. Okay, so there's about, and I can go, like I said, I can go back here and I can say, okay, let's go to the top. Okay, so I've done that one. That one's done. This is reports. This is blogs, so I can go save as blogs or blog, whatever. Blogs. This is a blog post, so this is an example of a blog post here. Save that. Okay, calendar I've got somewhere else. This is events. This is an event. So this is an example of an event. Or we'll call it event post because we call this one blog post. Okay. The last one is about. I've got that one already. So we've roughed in a few of these pages and we're good. I'm sorry, did you guys want me to record this? Wah, wah, wah. And like I said, I can come in here and I can just say, look, in the main, throw a bunch of returns in here. And that'll kind of make that larger. Yeah, footer 1, footer 2, footer 3, footer 4, that's easy. What I can do, I can throw a few returns in here to start to see that. By the way, shift, like it's shift return in Dreamweaver, it throws in a line break, which is like a hard return in code. So it actually creates some vertical space. Like my masthead, same thing. All right. What do you guys think? The thing is okay, so here's the downside of this. I hate saying follow along while I do this because you don't necessarily, I mean, it's easy to follow a recipe. It's hard to like invent a new dish. Is that a bad example? So, I mean, I want you to kind of get this, but I also don't want you to, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, I don't want you to follow along exactly. I want you to get what I'm doing. You know, we're roughing in a row. We're putting in, you know, so it's like, because if you try, here's the big risk. Is like if you try to follow this recipe exactly, and you like, oh, I didn't type a div, I didn't close a div or something, boom, it's broken. You guys are lost. So think of this as building blocks, right? You're going to put in the building block for the entire container, right? This is my bucket. Then I'm going to do a row. That's a building block. Another row and another row. And so think structurally, like this is Lincoln Logs or Legos, right? You're building this stuff one chunk at a time, and you're building all these little holes or holders to put stuff in, right? All right. I guess enough of that. I'm going to stop recording. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.